Hey there, Tahmina. So my name's Andrew, as you probably know, and I'm the essay corrector here at IELTSpodcast.com. Thank you for submitting this trial correction. Now, normally we ask all students to submit the same response, so it's a question about international marketing. But instead, you have submitted this question, which I assume is it makes sense to me that that's what type of question this is. So one thing I'll say about this, it's important in an agree-disagree question to accurately paraphrase the statement. So you could say something like, it is commonly thought that women make better parents than men. Or we could even say here, or actually, so this does more of what is expected in an introduction. It paraphrases the question clearly, it gives a strong statement about whether it disagrees or agrees, and then it gives an outline of why. What's the essay going to do? So here, this would be considered background information, because it doesn't go straight into the question, it tries to explain the subject, and we don't need to include background information at the start of an essay, we simply need to begin discussing the topic. So yeah, it's about making it more formal. In IELTS, really, you're trying to be as boring as possible. You want to be accurate and precise. Your writing should not strive to be beautiful or poetic. It simply should accurately describe your ideas. I would use here I'm not sure what this means. I think this is a bit of a leap. It's this bit for me that's a bit of a stretch. And also you say that genetically women are more socially active and better at communication, when this just isn't true. The number of differences between men and women genetically are actually minimal. They do exist, but they are barely even noticeable. So it's one thing that we should do with every paragraph is to support it with an example. That means to give it evidence, something that has happened in the real world that supports your view. If you just give a list of your opinions, it's not quite a paragraph. So this bit here, this kind of makes more sense. And then this here, I'm going to delete, and I'm just going to put example. This is fine for the final sentence of the paragraph. This is fine for the explanatory sentence, and this is fine for the introductory sentence. But I need here a real-world example which ties this whole thing together and proves that it's true. Now also, we can't say flip side either, because this is informal. We could say furthermore, father is generally considered the breadwinner is the phrase. I would say so as we're not being too general, we need to identify that we are speaking generally, and that the father is generally considered to be the breadwinner in most families. It doesn't necessarily mean he is. It's just this is the way that society thinks. I think this is not necessary. I think it does the same thing as the first sentence. School and education surely are the same thing. I think both parents do this. See, the problem here is that a lot of what you're writing is based on assumptions, and it's based on assumptions that we've acquired socially. This is why it's really important to seek out examples to support what you're saying, because if you can't find any examples, it's likely that what you're saying isn't really very accurate. There's also some really informal phrasings. So, a genetically more robotic personality. That's not an accurate phrase. It makes perfect sense, but academically speaking, a robot cannot have a personality. A personality is a facet of being a person, a human. So a robotic personality can't exist. Furthermore, to have a genetically more robotic personality, this is also not true. The fact that men don't discuss their emotions very much is a socially developed idea. It is not genetic. Men are not biologically less emotional. They are just simply taught by society that men shouldn't express their emotions. So this is what I'm like. Instead of discussing how much you agree or disagree with this question, you've simply discussed what you think both parents do. And then you've concluded that both of those jobs are necessary. Actually, what we should have done is, because you strongly disagree with this idea and you think that the duty should be shared equally, which you do say here, then really it should have been a discussion of why both parents should focus on the child equally, and not just a discussion of who's better at what. And you must support your paragraphs with examples, otherwise you're not going to score more than a 6. So for instance here we could have said, studies by Harvard University have shown that children respond considerably more in terms of cognitive activation to their mother than they do their father, signifying the stronger bond. So we need to have proof. I like your conclusion is fine and your intro is fine, but really the core problem here is that your paragraphs aren't academically structured. They need to be one core idea, properly expanded and supported with an example. But if you sit your exam and it doesn't go the way you want, then you could subscribe to one of our courses, the link to which is on this very page you're staring at right now. The course comes with 8 essay corrections in total, over which time I would hope to raise you to more than a band 7 in IELTS writing. I do hope to be seeing some more of your work coming through soon, Tahmina, but until then, have a great day and goodbye for now.